I have one of my most favorite healers that I Shiraz Baboo is a multi-award winning author, international speaker, and a reality interventionist. And you're like, what? Reality interventionist? Well, he's going to tell you all about that. He literally can tell if you are in alignment with something or not, but in a very different way than what I do. It's so cool. You're gonna love it when he like gives a little taste of it today. And so he empowers entrepreneurs, healers, and high achievers to break free from their unconscious patterns of struggle, whether it's illness, financial limitation, self-sabotage, and shift into lives of abundanza, abundance, ease, joy. And the way he does it is really cool. Yeah. So enjoy the gift that he is. And I mean, just even the gift that I put in the chat for you guys that's in the comment is stop thinking like a goldfish. I mean, just even that title is funny. So what does that mean, Shiraz?
It means most people think like a goldfish. Today, we're so distracted that most people cannot hold a thought for more than 7 seconds. And that's about the same as a goldfish. And if you want to create the life you want, like that you desire, all the things that start manifesting in big ways, you got to be able to hold thoughts for 30 seconds or more. Right? Not even a quarter of the way there for most people.
Yeah. So part of what's messing up our reality is that we're not staying focused with the right kinds of thoughts. It's like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
Yeah. If you notice when you're on YouTube, that commercial comes on before your video and it's going to leave in 5 seconds, because that's your attention span. They know if they haven't got you in the first 5 seconds, you're not going to pay attention.
Yeah. So what would be the best use of our own 5 seconds?
I thought we had more than 5 seconds.
We do. I'm just kidding.
Like, okay, the interview is over.
No, no, because we haven't been able to experience you yet fully. And you guys, Shiraz is also one of the guest healers that I am including in my Abundant Empath course starting on May 5th. Yeah, he's that good that I was like, hey, are you available for this? Because my people need what you got. And he's like, for you, yes. So it was wonderful. Win-win. You guys get to experience it now and in the program. So, yeah, money. What's in the way of people not having enough money?
Okay.
I mean, if we're talking about
abundant empaths, let's get right into the money subject.
Right? Yeah, I mean, there's abundance in many areas, but a lot of people think money and abundance. So,
okay. What's in the way? There's so many things in the way of people having lots and lots of money. And I think the simplest way to look at it is, what is your as long as? Right? So I would like to make a lot of money while I'm serving people, as long as people don't come up and ask me for it. As long as I don't have to work too hard. As long as I don't have to pay a lot of taxes. As long as no one gets jealous of my wealth. Right? And there's so many as long as. And that stops manifestation. Every one of those stops manifestation.
Yeah, I remember in one of our sessions, I was talking to you about money and how I was feeling such resistance with doing bookkeeping. And you're like, oh, so that's why you're not letting yourself make money. Or, it's like, I'll be prosperous in my business so long as I don't have to do extra bookkeeping. Well, oops, that just messed me up, by thinking that way. So I had to rejigger.
That's 90% of the world. That's where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, once you, it's not that you have to do these things. You have to be willing for those things to happen. Right? And
Say
that's
more.
where most people get stuck. Right. So as long as people don't come up and ask me for some of my money, you have to be willing for people to come up and say, Tiffany, you make a lot of money now. Can you invest in my company? Can you give to my charity? Can you take care of me, Tiffany? Please, I know you can afford to. And if questions like that, if encounters like that, even me talking about it causes an emotional reaction in you, like, oh, hell no, no, I don't want, then you don't actually want the money because your mind does not care about your financial situation. It really, really doesn't. It cares about your emotional situation. And if you're like, oh, well, if this is going to cause pressure or guilt or I don't know, even anger with all these people, then your mind's like, no, I want to stay happy. So let's just not make the money. We never have to deal with those emotions. Problem solved.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's so interesting that it's these small, seemingly small little things that need to be reprogrammed in
Mhm.
our brain. Because as you were even just giving that example, I was like, well, it probably depends on who they ask and how they ask. You know, like I was going there in my own mind, but I wasn't neutral across the board.
Yeah.
I
So
was like,
with you, it's as long as it isn't this person, as long as they do it politely, right?
yeah, yeah, so interesting. Why do you think people get stuck in their own rigid way of thinking, their own, sense of reality?
Protection. It's
Okay.
all about staying safe. And often it starts that something happened when you were younger that caused a huge emotional reaction. And you're trying not to repeat that emotional reaction.
Mhm.
And so you do whatever it takes to make sure that doesn't happen again. Right? And what the crazy thing is you're not going to have that reaction because this is often like probably 80% of it is from the ages of 1 to 6. Right. So how powerful is your emotional resilience from the ages of 1 to 6? Not very. But you
Mhm.
think, well, that's how it felt back then. So if a similar situation happens now, it's going to feel like that again. It's not. But in order to make sure it doesn't, in order not to take that chance, you create your reality.
Mhm.
Right. So oftentimes it's like it's not about the money at all. Like even though we use the example, they're going to come up and ask you for money. It's you were young and you had something that other people wanted, like you just got a new book in 3rd grade, and everyone's like, "Can I have the book? Can I read it? Can I take it?" And you're like, "Oh my god!" Right? And now when it comes to money, you're afraid that's going to be the same situation.
Mm.
So you do the same
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah. And I know that you work with a lot of coaches, healers, entrepreneurs that are already successful and yet take them from 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond.
Mhm.
What are some of the mindset shifts that are needed for someone who's like, a certain level of success, but wanting to go to that next level?
So common ones like one of my programs, $1 Million Impact Makers, we help women coaches that are stuck just above $100,000. We call it the 6 figure rut. Okay. And 60% of entrepreneurs that break that $100,000
Uh-huh.
mark get stuck in the 6 figure rut. And even though it's called 6 figures, it's the 100,000. It's not 200 or 700. Those are still 6 figures. The 6 figure rut is just above 100,000. Right. And they have these ideas of what it takes to build business. And the most common one is how much work's involved. Because at 100,000, most people haven't built their businesses to scale. So they're working their butts off just to
Mm-hmm.
keep that $100,000 going. So in their mind, if I make 10 times the money and go to $1 million, I'm doing 10 times the work. Right? And logically, they could say, oh, okay, I will hire some people, I'll put systems in place. But emotionally, unconsciously, it's like, nope, it's this hard now. It's going to be 10 times as hard. I'm going to sabotage every attempt I make to take this business further because I don't want to go through that much work. Screw it. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've had moments like that.
okay.
And yeah. Yeah. Because as you were saying the 6-figure rut, I was like, I think I'm in the 7-figure rut. Like, and I was listening, like, is this me? As you were talking. And yeah, I mean, even though I have a lot of systems and automations in place, I have who are certified in my company to work for me and help me. I think there's still a part that's, worried about, I'm gonna have to do a lot more work, or, is this gonna give me even more exposure?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. And more exposure brings up a key thing because some people have upper limits they don't realize. Like I had an upper limit because I used to, growing up, there was a movie called The Warriors. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was
Huh.
about all these gangs in New York trying to get this one gang, right? Uh, yeah.
Okay.
And it's because at the beginning of the movie, there's this guy, Cyrus, and he's giving this big speech about uniting the gangs because they outnumber the cops 3-1. So they could just take over New York. Right?
Okay.
And in the middle of his speech, someone shoots him.
Oh
Now,
no.
they've got reps from all these gangs, like not the whole gangs, just a few representatives. There's still 10,000 people there, right? And he gets shot, and someone blames the Warriors as they didn't actually do it, but they get blamed. So I watched that movie growing up over and over and over again. And then I'm
Mhm.
running my business, and I'm getting on bigger and bigger stages. What I didn't
Mhm.
realize was I programmed into myself, once I get on a big enough stage, someone's going to shoot me.
Oh.
Because that's what happens. That's what I watched again and again.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I started to get sick. And I couldn't go to those to speak on the stages. I had to start canceling. And I'm like, why am I getting so sick? What is happening? And I had to go work with the coach, and we did some regression. It's like, what happened? And then it just came up, oh my God, it was that damn movie. I love that movie, but it was the damn movie. And we cleared it, and all of a sudden I wasn't getting sick and my business started to grow again. But
Mhm.
there's no way, like I was looking for a physical, a logical, strategic thing to increase my business and get on more stages, not an emotional thing that, oh my God, what if I die? So there's no way I could have solved it if I just
Yeah.
tried to solve it from the business aspect.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
A traditional business coach would be like, well, you need to, do these traditional business things like make more automations and speak on more stages and have more, you know,
Yeah.
converting products. But if the inner self isn't aligned, you can do all that other external
Mhm.
and have it only have partial results.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the business coaches said, well, if you're getting sick, you're obviously overworked. And I'm like, but I'm not. He goes, well, you must be because you're getting sick. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, fear
Yeah.
does such a number on us. I remember, I think it was last year, when I was in being filmed in two different transformation documentary movies, and
Mhm.
I was having this like collapse of space and fear about all the visibility that was gonna show up from that. I mean, the movies haven't even come out yet, but I've noticed that even a few more layers here and there pop up. So it's like, okay, let me do the inner work to release that and let go, to be open and receptive. And do you think it ever ends? I mean, to me, it's probably not until we reach enlightenment, but what do you think?
That's pretty much it. I tell my clients, when you have the ability to walk on water, you're done. You- cleared every belief. You can manipulate reality. You're good to go. And until
Mhm.
then, you got stuff to clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I often hear you say that the solution or the problem is actually the solution. What do you
Yes.
mean by that?
So similar to what we're talking about, if you have a consistent problem, that's a solution for an emotional problem you're not looking at. Right?
Mhm.
So if if you're not making the money and um, you're sitting there going, well, I'm trying everything and I'm not making the money. It
Uh-huh.
could be that, when you were in high school, you had a bunch of money and people were like, oh, look at you, Mr. Hotshot with all your money. And you just think you're so full of your and you're like, I don't want people thinking about me like that. And that's all an emotional problem. So you
Uh-huh.
limit your income to make sure no one ever says that to you. And what would be funny is like in high school, it might have been you won $300, which to most high school kids is like, oh my God, I've got so much money. Right? And now it's like, my rent is $2,000. I'd like to make more than 300.
Yeah. So how do you help guide people through it? Like once you get that intuition about somebody's got a block,
Yep.
maybe you could, if you don't mind, do a demo of that so that
Okay.
people can understand what that's like and what they'll be able to experience during the Abundant Empath program with you.
All right. So then what we're going to do is I guess I'm
Can
working
I
with
be a
you.
demo?
Okay.
Pick me, pick
I
me.
know we're streaming, but the streaming people can't get here. So,
That you guys can put in comments though if you want while we're doing it. And go ahead.
okay. So I'm going to be working with Tiffany. This is just what it's going to be like in the workshops. When I talk to you, I can tell when your conscious beliefs match your unconscious beliefs. So whenever they don't, I'm going to say that's not coming up true. Right? And so I'm not trying to call you a liar. I'm just saying there's your conscious mind, unconscious mind are disagreeing at this moment. So
Hmm.
once we know there's a discrepancy, we're going to dig through to find out what is the story that's causing that discrepancy. So if I make a lot of money, people will ask me for it, and I don't want that to happen. If I make a lot of money, this was an interesting one that came up. If I make money easily and quickly, I'll disrespect my parents who work so hard to put food on the table.
Hmm.
Yeah. So when we get the story, I'm just going to say, are you willing to step out of that story? If you say yes and you mean it, and again, I can tell if you mean it, then it shifts in that moment. By shifts, what I mean is energetically, there's a release of that energy. And physically, you're actually rewiring your neural pathways in that moment. If it is a solid yes. And by a solid yes, I mean you're in that frame of mind that I'm done. This is not serving me. I'm out of this story. Okay. This is important because I'm not actually doing energy work on you to clear the belief. What I do is I guide you to the belief, and then you have to do the work to clear it. And that's where that yes comes in. So if it's not a real yes with you, it's not going to change because this is your life. It's not mine to control. It's yours to control. Okay. And then if you do say yes, it's a real yes. I tend to yawn and cough. That's just what my body does. I don't know why. I've gotten used to it. And a lot of people like it now because they know when the shift's occurring and when it's not occurring. Like, please let him cough. Please let him cough. So,
Uh-huh.
okay. So we were ready?
Ready.
Okay. What do you want to work on?
I don't know. There's like 5 things all at once.
Okay.
So that 7-figure thing
Mhm. Yep.
was one option. Book launch.
Ooh, your
I
energy just dropped when you said that.
'cause I haven't felt excited to do it because I don't identify as an author, even though there's, you know, teachings and stuff woven in and little extra teachings at the end of each chapter.
Okay.
So maybe since I'm more flat on that, we tackle it, because I would
Okay.
love to get it out there. I have a few books that
Okay.
need to be published.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all
Like all
right.
the compilation books, no problem. I have no fear. Me being like the one putting it
Mhm.
out there, there's a different, ooh, shit.
Ooh. All right.
Okay.
Okay. You don't identify as an author.
No.
Have you finished any of the books?
Yeah.
What is that?
I mean, they still need to have the final editing, but
Okay.
yeah,
But you finished the books.
mhm.
Okay. So you're an author. Okay.
Okay.
If you're done the book, you're an author. Right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. As an author, if you put a book out, does everything in it have to be right?
Since I hesitated, I guess I'm there's something there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that if you put a book out, everything in it has to be right?
Yes.
Now, it should be your goal to make sure everything is right. But
Mhm.
you're just going from the information you've been given. And if you've been given incorrect information, then that's going to go into the book.
Mhm.
You can always do a revision. But
I think
right. Go ahead.
I think another piece is that I had someone help me with the writing.
Okay.
And so part of me feels like a fraud.
Yeah. 'Cause no one's ever written the book using a ghostwriter before. Never mind just someone helping you. Oh. Right.
Like
What did the person help you like write in what way? Come up with the ideas or massage what you've written, what you put down?
well, we collaborated on a sweet romance book,
Okay.
and she's really good with all the romance stuff, and
Yeah.
I gave a whole bunch of, like, I don't know, several $1,000s worth of my products and said, "Okay, download it, read it, watch it,
Yeah.
integrate it." You
Okay.
know? And so we
So it's an exchange.
collaborated on how
Yeah.
to create that so that it would be mainstream, but a bridge for people who want more conscious conversations and spirituality.
Okay. Do you acknowledge her anywhere in the book?
I haven't yet.
Well, just acknowledge her somewhere in the book. It can even just be a big thank you too, and you're done.
Oh,
Well, that was easy.
jeez. Okay.
Okay.
Really? That was it? It's so funny.
Sometimes it's just a practical step.
Ah,
That was it. Because again, it was guilt was the underlying emotion. I'm putting this
uh-huh.
out. It's my name on the book. I feel guilty because someone else helped me. Well, give her a thank you. You don't have to have her as a co-author because you paid her for the help.
Right. Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
can acknowledge Chelsea.
All right.
She's
So
awesome.
are you willing to step out of the story that you should feel guilty if someone helps you write a book?
Nope. But I want to be. Okay. I
Okay.
mean,
Well, what's the reasoning here? Why do you have to feel guilty just because you got help writing the book?
a real author would have written it herself in every word.
Okay, that's a cool
Some
story.
weird story in my head.
Okay, so I have a book out. I don't know where I put it. It's called Defenders of the Scroll. Okay,
Okay.
it's a young adult fantasy. It's somewhere between Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Right? And so I wrote this book, and then I gave it to a book development editor,
Uh-huh.
and she tore it apart. Right? So she's like, this should say this, and you're doing this wrong. And so, oh my God. So major rewrites with her help.
Mm-hmm.
Next version of the book, people are like, this is friggin' amazing. Right? So
Uh-huh.
she has a thank you. Zero guilt, because it was my book, my concept. I was the one that wanted this project there. I just needed help, and I paid her for her help. Right? So this is not an isolated incident. This is what most authors do. Right? Every author at a publishing house has editors that come in and like, we got to do it this way, we got to do it this way, blah blah blah. So doing it on your own, here's the thing: doing it on your own is the best way to make it not great.
It's arrogant also.
And I've seen books that were written by the author, edited by the author, published by the author. There's so many errors in it. It is like so bad because you don't see your own mistakes.
Right.
Right? So it's just in there. And I remember having a woman that came up, she said, I've been getting so much praise about this book that I wrote. And she gave me some chapters to read. And I was very polite during the conversation, but I basically told her, this sucks. Okay. She goes, but everyone's been saying great things. I'm like, are they friends and relatives? She's like, yeah. No, don't get those people to review your books. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about, I think it's like James, like everyone loves James. I'm like, for what reason? And she goes, because he's a great guy. And I said, but what reason have you shown me in the book that everyone loves James? And she goes, well, it says right here, everyone loves James. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be demonstration. Here's how you demonstrate. And we took her through a whole exercise, rewriting this whole thing. Still her book. But now James does things that you go, oh my God, I love James, so that you don't have just have a sentence, everyone loves James. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is part of the process. So if it's interesting because you're feeling guilty because you think I shouldn't have help, I should do it on my own. And meanwhile, you've acknowledged if everyone does it on their own and doesn't acknowledge anyone, that's just arrogance. Right?
Yeah.
So are you willing to step out of the story that you should feel guilty for not doing the book on your own?
Yes. No wonder there was such
Ooh,
heaviness there. It's feeling a lot lighter.
yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's incredible, like the small things that show up as the roadblock.
Yep.
It's not always, an old trauma or scary experience. Sometimes it's literally like my friggin' guilt.
And the most common emotions that are going to sabotage you are guilt and shame.
Yes.
And not even having them, the possibility of having them will make you stop.
Mhm. I feel good on the guilt. There's still something with the shame connected with the book.
Okay. Shame around what?
Can't maybe it's still about or like a different way of having someone help me with it.
Okay. Are you not good enough if you can't write a book by yourself?
That's it.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
All right. I mean,
And
you need to go to like a book fair and go up to the authors and say, did you write this all by yourself? Did you have any help? And there's not one that's going to say I wrote it all by myself.
uh-huh.
Okay. Are you willing to step out of the story that you should feel shame if you don't write a book by yourself?
Yes.
Ooh, ooh. Yeah, laughter is better.
Yeah, that was good.
Hmm,
That was really good. Thank you.
you're welcome.
And to bridge it for our viewers, I mean, anytime Shiraz is doing a process with one person, if there's any part of that that resonates with you, you can have the healing and release at the same time. And he'll
Yes.
work with multiple people throughout, you know, that particular class too. So,
Yep. So
mm,
just you have to keep in mind that I probably should have said this beforehand. If you're watching it or you're watching the recording, when I say, are you willing to step out of that story, you can say yes. Because again, you're the one doing the shifting. You're the one saying, yeah, I'm done with that story. So even if Tiffany can't get to a yes, you can. Right? So
mhm.
but we got her there. So this is good.
Yeah. Okay. So, when I launch my book, will you help me with like a post?
Post, absolutely.
Spreading the word. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, I figure if I add in a little bit of accountability and a little bit of an incentive, I'll want to do it even more.
Well, you want accountability, set a release date.
June 15th was when I wanted to
Okay.
do it.
So start promoting
I
coming out June 15th. Ooh,
oh,
look at that. It's like,
yay.
what?
That
Oh, that was a smack of energy right there.
Maybe I need one more of some. I think just time pressure
Well, you
to
just said June 15th is when I wanted to come out. So
okay.
if that's honestly when you want to come out, then now you're creating this pressure just to make sure you get it done on time and it doesn't just become July 15th, August 15th, October, you know, November 2027. So, and you don't have to stick to June 15th. If you want to make sure you've got enough build up and hype and everything, you can say, okay, July 15th. Let's just set that date and go.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
I
Thank
remember when I wrote my first nonfiction book, my coach is like, okay, so when do you want, like, have you got the book? He's like, yeah, go on Facebook and say coming soon. I'm like, when? He goes, you just put coming soon. Well, and if you're really bold, you can say coming this fall. All right, because it was in the middle of summer, right? It's coming this fall. And I'm like, okay, so that gives you a 3 month thing. And he goes, and if you're really brave, you can say coming September 15th.
oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I pinky swear that after I take a solid look at my marketing calendar, I will confirm between June 15th and July 15th as my coming out date.
Okay.
And I will make a social media post tonight about the book. I don't have a book type approved book cover yet
Oh,
or
okay.
type. But
Well, it takes like 2 days to get a book cover.
yeah, I hadn't like dialed in on exactly the title that I wanted
Okay.
because I have this series and I wanted it to fit under the umbrella. You
Mhm.
know, it's like one couple and then the next couple and they're all like friends,
Yep.
you know, but it's different things. Kind of like Bridgerton, you know, with all the
Sure.
different seasons having a different couple that they focus on.
Yep.
Um And so I hadn't, like, locked in the title, and I've let that be my excuse for why I haven't finished it.
Okay. So, uh, it's Tuesday. So by Saturday, you'll have a title and the
Yeah.
cover for the title.
By
Right.
this Saturday, title and cover for title.
I worked with the cover artists. We were all in this program, and on 3 day program, day one, everyone gave him the titles and the subtitles, and that's it. That's all the information he had on the books. And on day three, he gave us all covers. And
Sweet.
out of the 40 people, 4 ask for revisions. So we got 90% bang on.
Nice.
That was a good kind of talent to have.
Oh yeah, I like it.
So just get the right artist and you're good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll get her done.
Get her
Thank
done.
you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is fun. I love receiving. I love playing with you. I love it when you help my people. And I'm really looking forward to having you be a guest healer at the Abundant Empath program. So Shiraz's link is in your, in the description there, abundantempath.com. Check it out. Go and sign up. And then you can have 12 classes where the bulk of it is all about prosperity healing. I do kinesthetic experiential stuff. I am not a boring talking head with slides. I want to get you engaged and go into what is in your blind spot the way he does it, but in a different way. Like, would you say you're more like you feel it in your body, or you get it as a claircognizance, like a knowing?
All of the above.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I made an agreement once that the information needs to come in the way that's going to help the most. So sometimes I feel it in my body, sometimes it's a knowing, sometimes I hear the answer, sometimes I see the energy around you, sometimes I taste it.
Yeah.
However it wants to present itself.
Yeah, I have all the clairs, the clairvoyance, the clairsentience, claircognizance, the smelling and the tasting of energy. Sometimes it's pretty yucky, but if it's like good energy, then that sweetness is quite divine.
And you're like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, certain emotions have very icky tastes and smells.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, I think it's fun though, just to be able to have this be normal. I assumed everybody was clairvoyant and could see auras and could communicate, with God, with animals, with nature, because that's how my toddler self just had these gifts.
Yeah. And everyone is born with these gifts, but most people get it taught out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as we keep doing our parts, maybe more and more of the world will start reawakening those gifts within them.
That is the plan.
Go team. All right. Thank you so much, Shiraz. And see you in Abundant Empath. Register now. Let's play. Let's heal. Let's get in a space of abundanza.
Yes.
Much love. Bye.
Bye.